I thought we started the game. I thought it was the best start to the game we've had this season. I thought, maybe you're looking at Bournemouth. Bournemouth was up there. I thought Everton, we were excellent. Villa was very good for 60 minutes. That Man United game was just immense. Bearing in mind they've had 24 days off. 24 days off. We played West Ham in a slobber knocker last weekend. That went to extra time and penalties. That was just... And we have to talk about the midfield. I'm going to have to go on about it again because Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Agate were nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Tanaka and Ampadu. Oh, my God. Just a beautiful midfield balance, a beautiful midfield blend, the intensity, the variety in the play, the spreading of the ball from Ethan Ampadu. I like Tanaka getting the ball on the half turn, checking players, tackling, high recovery rate, again, defensively immense, wanting the ball at every opportunity against top opposition in the midfield. This is a Man United side, by the way, who are like second or third in the form table. And we went there and we should have been 4-1 up inside 30 minutes. DCL missed, let's be honest, DCL has missed 3 gilt-edged chances tonight, maybe 2 gilt-edged chances tonight. The header in the second half, which is absolutely... tailor-made for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jayden Bogle, little swift ball in, and then obviously the one inside a minute, which he's got to score. They're not, and we've had more than that, by the way. They were just like the obvious ones. But Okafor, I thought was brilliant. What a return for him. So dangerous in that first half. And there's a couple of opportunities in that first half where you're getting frustrated with him. Again, it's his composure in front of goal. Pick that right pass. He just wants to take the fullback on, and he doesn't really get his head up enough at stages. But that's been uber critical. Across the board, I thought the tone was set by Ampadu and Tanaka. Just outrageously good together. And that is not a midfield of a relegated team. It's not. Tanaka today was just... I was watching him and I was just thinking, you've not been playing for such a massive portion of this season. And I understand that, I guess, a physicality aspect of it, but you've scored against City, scored against Liverpool, scored against... Chelsea, done well against City, and there's been a game or two where you've not been ideal, but to be bombed out with the talent level he has. And I thought against West Ham, he was the best player on the pitch. And I think, again, he's got rid of another Fernandes today in Bruno, who was nowhere near it. Anytime Bruno had the ball, bang, Tanaka or Ampadu right on him. Every single time. The high recoveries were at such a significant rate in this game. And I just think it was if Leeds just had like a real potent attacker, if we had someone going forward who was like a proper marksman, able to put one in, like literally a Rafinha, the amount of recoveries that we had in their half, imagine just a player picking it up and just being able to leather it in the bottom corner. We just don't have that critical edge, and I think that's something Leeds will address in the summer. I hope they address it in the summer. But overall, we deserve them. But the quality difference that we have on the bench with someone like Al Tanaka cannot be understated. He cannot be out of this team. And that just shows it on arguably on what lots would say, the biggest stage in the world. But he has just gone there ahead of like Casemiro, who's been revitalised this year, and Bruno Fernandes in particular. And any time he was putting any sort of pressure on Tanaka bypassed him. And he bypassed that lad last week at West Ham, by the way, who I've mentioned several times. He's been looked at by Real Madrid in the midfield. He was quiet as well. There's absolutely no... You win football games in the midfield. You absolutely do. It's the engine room. It's the IQ. It's the brain of a football team. If you've got Tanaka, and I mentioned this before, but Tanaka, you can almost like have 2/3 in that midfield. So you can have maybe Tanaka and Stark or Tanaka and Ampadu, but it feels like you have to have Tanaka in there. So calm, so cool on the ball, never flustered. And I thought he just ran the game. I think they were speaking about him on the 45th minute, saying that Man United need to get close to him, they need to get near him. And he ran the game against West Ham when he was on the pitch, and he ran the game again tonight. And he absolutely has to start for Leeds in the running against Ampadu. And I thought you saw a difference in Ampadu as well. I thought because maybe Ampadu's a little bit more comfortable next to Tanaka because he knows about there's a lovely blend between them. I mentioned this on the last reaction, but it's like an invisible rope. It feels like they work in like tandem, and it's really nice to see. And yeah, I just think they were just both excellent together. And I mentioned earlier on in the season, that's what I wanted to be like a little bit in front of Arsenal. Arsenal, we showed them way too much respect. Tottenham earlier on in the season, way too much respect. But when we don't show teams respect and we're in the face and there's an intense level to Leeds United, and there's a high press and the right players are selected, Leeds are really tough to play against. And I genuinely believe if you get the midfield blend of Stack, Ampadu and Tanaka, that is a 10th, 11th place midfield, maybe even higher. That's how much I rate that midfield. It's a good job for Man United that Stack wasn't playing today. And I genuinely believe that.